Well. Good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Real Talk Tuesday. I am Brittany Stevenson, and I will be facilitating tonight's conversation. I got my normal crew here with me. I have Reverend Kenneth Watson over there. Say hi to the people. We have Reverend Brandon Gale. We have Sister Brianna Branch.
Hey, y'all.
And we have Sister Miosha Crippen.
Hey.
And as you can see, we do have a guest panelist with us tonight. We have Brother Todd J. Knock with us. And right now, we're not going to tell you why we have him with you, why he's with us, but he's with us. So say hi to everybody, Todd.
Hi, everyone. This is like my second time on here.
This is his second time on here. So yes, welcome back to Real Talk Tuesday. Thank you for coming back with us. So it is the last day of Black History Month. So we felt like it was appropriate to do a little Black history, right? So let's get started with it. Black History Matters, right? So does anyone know the origin of Black History Month? Anyone? Going once? Going twice?
It used to be a week.
Yeah, that is true. But do you know how it originated? Anybody? Nope. Okay. So in 1915, Harvard-educated historian Carter G. Woodson and Minister Jesse Woodland founded, like Miosha said, what is known as Black History Week. So then it was later in the 1960s that it became a month. So does anyone know why we celebrate it in February? Because, something that I always wonder is like, why we as Black people get the shortest month? But do you know why? I had to look this up. I had to look this one up. Does anyone know why?
Doesn't it correspond with the president's birthday?
Yes, it corresponds with Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass's birthday. So that is why we celebrate in the month of February. So I guess we can say it's not necessarily a dig towards to give us the shortest month, but it's to coincide with that. So now that we know the origin of it, why does Black history matter? Why does it matter to you, Sister Brianna?
It's the art.
I was gonna say I done made a face, and then she goes, Brianna, like, huh? Okay, why does Black history matter to me specifically? Okay. I think because it's important to learn about, where I came from and the people who paved the way for me. Of course, back then I wouldn't be able to do half the stuff that I want to do, school, let alone go get my PhD. That would not be happening. They were terrified of us back then. So I think it's nice to know, who made a way for me to be where I am now. I think that's really cool. That's why it's important.
Okay. Reverend Watson, why does Black history matter?
I share the same thoughts as Brianna.
That's what's up.
It's just a matter of paying homage, paying honor to all the many sacrifices in the past that were laid for us, and just kind of showing our appreciation. And it's important to know our history. But I'll give everybody else an opportunity before I continue.
Sister Miosha, to you, why does Black history matter?
See, she's already cut me off.
See, I'm sorry.
We're 3 minutes in, and
I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Kenny, that's because we know that you know. Okay, I'm not gonna say it, but Black history matters for so many reasons, not just for us, right? But for other as well, and I think for myself, Black history is just so a lot of people did pave the way for us, and I feel like where we are, if it wasn't for them, we would never have to do some of the things we do today. So that's one of the reasons I feel that it's important that we value education and we value worship, and we thank God for where we are today. It's just, I could go on and on about it, but I'm just definitely grateful to be an African American, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Reverend Gale, why does Black history matter?
Basically, based on what everyone else said, I mean, without Black history, we wouldn't have a lot of the freedoms that we have right now. And of course, a lot of the inventors are that invented a lot of the things that we use, if not the majority of the things that we use, from Black history. It is a part of our history. So, I mean, just, like I said, honoring and just appreciating the sacrifice that was made so that we could, we ourselves and our children's children will be able to enjoy in the future as well. Yeah. Generations.
All of them. Todd Knox, thank you again for joining us. Let's hear your opinion. Why does Black history matter?
So Black history matters because Black history creates a bond among Black people. When we really dial back, there's not many things that we all celebrate. We are here, there, and everywhere, but the one thing that we can all celebrate collectively is Black History Month. Black History Month is something that belongs to all of us. It's not just something that belongs to the Baptist church. It's not just something that belongs to the Kojic church. It's not just something that belongs to Democrats or Republicans. It belongs to all of us, and we are able to all come together and celebrate just as other races celebrate their heritage. It builds a bond within us, and we are able to celebrate and tie in together.
That's a good answer. Thank you for that. So to go into our second question, so it's about Black history. I've seen this interview several times with Morgan Freeman. We all know who Morgan Freeman is. We love Morgan Freeman. We stand for Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, in an interview about Black History Month, said that there should not be a Black History Month. And he gave his reasons as to why that shouldn't be. And his reasons were basically because he says that Black history, it shouldn't be just celebrated in a month because Black history is American history. But I guess my question is, do you agree with that? Like, we shouldn't celebrate Black history. We shouldn't have a specific month to celebrate it. And I want to know what your thoughts on that are. So will anyone want to start?
I can jump in if nobody else wants to go first. I agree with him, but I also disagree. I agree that we need to be culturally aware so that we're not just watering ourselves down to 1 month, but we do need a time and place to celebrate. We do need something that is structured for us to say, hey, this is Black History Month. So I do agree with him, but at the same time, we have to start somewhere also. And if we begin to celebrate Black History 365, we'll run into a place where we are not organized in celebration. Black History Month is also a unified front. We can celebrate in April, we can celebrate in June, we can celebrate in December, but February, it is an organized front. So yes and no.
Okay. So you took the middle there. Does anyone have a full agree or a full disagree?
Well, I disagree. I mean, I definitely think that we should have a month, for some of the reasons that Todd mentioned, but also not just for us, like with schools. I feel like if, certain schools didn't have Black History Month, some of those kids would never learn anything about Black history. It kind of sets a designated time for us all, all over to just be like, okay, well, I know it's 365 days in a year, but for this 28, 29 days, we can kind of focus on Black history. So I think it's a good thing that we have that time set aside.
Okay.
I can say something too. I think that I also disagree with Morgan Freeman because, if we think about it, we are, I don't want to say easily, but sometimes it feels like it, we're already so easily swept underneath the rug. People like to disregard us. They don't like to acknowledge what has happened in the past. They're just keep moving forward, just keep looking forward. And I think the fact that there is a month that is set out, everybody knows that it is Black History Month, it doesn't allow them to do that. And I mean, maybe for some it still does, but at least for a month, people who are content with just pretending it didn't happen, it's going to be in their face, and like they have to acknowledge it. It's there, and I mean, we get something from it too, like sense of community. We're learning more about where we come from, things like that. And so I think it's important that we have the month. I do think we should learn how to, like, you know, spread it throughout the year, because I feel like something we fall into is we focus on it for a month, and then it's kind of like what is Black history until like next year when February comes back around. So I think that's something that could be addressed, but I definitely disagree. I like our month. She's beneficial.
She's beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Brianna. I know, Neosha. I mean, I said, Anton. I agree with all you all. You know, we should have our month, but also we have to realize too, there's nothing stopping us from celebrating Black history anytime we want to celebrate it, whether it be through a piece of jewelry, our clothing. You know, we are history. You know, just our very beings. You know, we are history ourselves. You know, so there's nothing stopping us from celebrating or planning the event. You know, just say, hey, you know, Saturday we're gonna get together and have a good time and celebrate our history, celebrate, you know, being Black, whatever. I want to put it.
I definitely think that.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping us from doing that, but it's good also to have something that's already organized, saying that we're going to set this aside and saying that, you know, this month, for this amount of days, you know, we're really going to pay close attention and put emphasis on our history and you know, where we came from, our culture.
Okay. Reverend Watson?
No, I mean, I agree. I think I'm slightly disappointed in what Morgan Freeman said. I understand the premise for what it's saying, but you know, considering how rich our history is, and considering that the predominant race in the society is trying to erase our history, it's kind of disappointing that we would kind of agree with that in a sense, because when you think about some of the states and the governors who are talking about taking out African American studies, talking about so it's essentially removing our history. So if not for Black history, as Sister Miosha stated, sometimes that's the only opportunity for our kids to even learn about it. Now, of course, we as a people need to do a better job with expressing and promoting our history. But if you really think about it, I mean, if it's up to certain people in this country, we wouldn't have anything.
And you know you're right.
And they'll begin to use that. They'll begin to use the words of our own against us to express the fact that we really don't need it. So I encourage everybody to say that we need it, and we just don't need February. But it should be celebrated and honored every day, right? Because that's all we grew up. We grew up with American history, and we grew up with us being X'd out of it. So unfortunately, we have to make that up. And February is not enough, but it's certainly a start. So again, we should definitely celebrate it. I want it to be here, and it should be our goal to have more, because it's when you think about it, it's shameful that we aren't celebrated and recognized more than what we are.
Absolutely. And I just want to go on the record and saying that I think the reason why he said what he said was more of along the lines of Black history is American history. So it's not like he, you know, so it's like it should be, I don't know if he was alluding to it should be celebrated all the time or what, but like you said, I think when I first heard him say that, and I love Morgan Freeman, like, he's one of the greatest actors of all time, definitely a GOAT. But I was like, what? Because like you said, it so often is our history, our influential moments kind of beat down and put to the side. So if you don't have that specific time to do it, while we should celebrate us as a people, as a culture, as a race every day, all day, I think it is very important to have that time. Yes, we know Black history is American history, but when I feel like if we allow the other people to tell it, they'd water it down. It's like the whole sense of, oh, racism was 400 years ago, or slavery was this time ago. It's that thing. I think it would get too watered down if it was like thrown into just general American history. So I think that while I kind of understood what he was saying, I still feel like Black History Month should, definitely be something where it's like, yeah, this is ours, period. This is what we're doing all month long. Celebration. So that's how I feel about that. So we're talking about Black History Month. So my next question to you is, when you think about moments that, all of us got some age on us, from anywhere between 20s up to 40s. So when you think about the moments in your life, historic Black moments in your life, what are some that come to mind that you just were like, you know what, that hit for me? I'm going to go first. So Brittany had, as a little girl, had great dreams of growing up to be the best actor the best actress in the world. And sometimes I still think that, it's never too late to be great. But so one of my iconic moments, or one of those moments in Black history for me, was when actress Whoopi Goldberg, became the first Black person to reach EGOT status. Anybody, if you know what an EGOT is, it's when an actor, entertainer wins an Emmy, Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. There are only to date 18 EGOT winners. 5 of them are Black, and she was the first Black person to do that. So that was in 2002, and that was just like, it made me like, I remember researching it, and just, it was so exciting to me because I remember, just that feeling of, yes, like, something. First of all, I love Whoopi Goldberg as well. And then, I love Whoopi Goldberg, like, love her. So that was one of my like Black history moments that, I remember even as, a teenager, just, yes, queen, do it. And it was in something that I love. Like, I'm a movie person. I love theater. I love, all of that. So that was a moment for me. So
you said 2002?
Yeah, she won in 2002.
Teenager? I am young. I'm so sorry.
Girl, bye.
Well, you do know that Viola Davis actually got an EGOT, became an EGOT a couple of weeks ago.
Recently.
Yeah, but and Jennifer Hudson actually got it like a couple of months ago. So it was 2 of them within the same time around, and then John Legend. So you have, the 3 women, you have John Legend, and I can't remember the 5th one. But just all of them are just greats and legends in their own right. But I'm talking about the first, Whoopi was the first, respectfully. So that was my moment. Brianna, what moment that, can you think of that, in Black history that you remember, whether you were a kid or teenager, since you throw shade at me, or just something that you remember being like, yes, this is Black history?
I did not mean to throw shade. That just really put things into perspective.
It was giving eclipse, but I'm gonna let you have that.
I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see. A moment that was just like, boom, Black history for me. During my lifetime?
What other lifetime?
Let me think. I would have to say October 12th, 1999. The day that Brianna was brought into the world. Oh, God. One of the biggest moments of Black history.
Come get her.
I kid. Okay. One of the most like notable ones, I guess, would be Barack Obama becoming president. Like, it's something when you're learning about it, you just see like all these presidents, they're just a bunch of white men. You're thinking, oh, it's like, I wouldn't make it in that sort of position, especially because, oh man, I can't remember her name now, but when we were learning about presidents, I know that there was an African American woman who ran for president once.
Shirley Chisholm.
One more time?
Shirley Chisholm.
Yes, who ran. And so like you learn how there are people who ran, who tried, and they didn't make it, and so you just start thinking like, okay, well, this can't happen for us, at least not yet, like maybe not anytime soon. And then Barack won. And I feel like that's something that, some Black history that happened during my lifetime. And I was like, wow, okay, look at us go. Like, woo.
What's crazy about that is that there are kids that don't know what it's like to have not had a Black president because, they were born, like during or after he won. And I mean, like you said, I remember, listen, I went to an HBCU, Hawk Pride catching, whoop. So I remember, when he won, I remember like it was up,
It was a big
up,
deal. It still
when
is
I
a big
just
deal.
remember just that feeling of like, oh my God, like just the excitement. So definitely, like as you said, Brianna, that was definitely a moment in time.
I was a freshman in college.
I was a senior.
And I remember that night like it was yesterday. And I feel like that was the first time in my life, which I've got another answer, but that was the first time in my life where I felt like as a people, we were invincible. Like, I just remember, it was my first time voting. I was a freshman in college. It was my first time voting. I stood in a long voter line. It was raining outside. And, we're in the SSC and we're waiting to hear the result. Like, I just felt like as a people, we were invincible in that moment.
I agree.
Reverend Watson, I'm calling you out. I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mine is probably the same thing. Is when President Barack Obama was elected. Often you hear your parents talk about certain events in which they can remember where they were, right? So I think that will go down as for me one of the moments where I know exactly where I was at when he was elected as the president. Along with, I can remember where I was at when the Whitney Houston death was announced. I can remember where I was at when the Trayvon Martin verdict came down. So yeah, I would probably say that that'll be a moment that I'll be telling my grandkids. I can remember where I was at when President Obama was elected. So I would say that. Yeah.
Reverend Gail.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same with everyone else. That was as far as the biggest moment, but also with me, it's just that there's been so many other major moments. Because when you think of, I don't think if you ever get time and just look at the inventions that American people have invented, and then you just take a look about how much you use their inventions every day. That's what I was doing before we got on. I was like, we really would be a lost people if we if they would just seriously, if think about this, if for some reason we had to stop using everything our African American person had, something they can stop inventing, and somebody just say, we can't use that no more, we would be a mess up.
Listen, it's giving survival of the fittest.
I mean, just looking on the one list that said the air conditioner, I was like, oh my God. Just like, oh God. Ironing boards, air conditioners, you know what I'm saying? Stoplights,
security
systems. You know what I'm saying? You look at all the stuff, like, so it's been, of course, there's none that stuff was invented way before I was thought
right.
about. But when you just even look at those are special events because it makes our lives so much easier today, So, but for as far as my moment, it's definitely when President Barack got elected, as the president of the United States, and not only elected one time,
two times.
I
cried the second time. I remember the second time. The first time I didn't. The first time I remember going outside yelling, and then I got in my car and I just drove around like acting a fool. But the second time I remember, because I remember being at the church the second time, and we had a watch party at the church. And I remember it was honey, you talk about he turned it because things weren't looking good at one. Like, wait a minute. Then
and you think about
God turned that thing around.
And think about all he went through his first 4 years. And then the people kept him in for another 4 years. And all the things that he had went through, all the, of what the Republicans tried to do to him and say about him and all that. But he remained steadfast and unmovable.
Though you slay me, yet will I trust you.
Oh,
my.
That's it. Sister Miosha.
I'm with everybody else. That's the most memorable. I'm sorry. I mean, how can
I was expecting one of my ladies to say when Kamala Harris became the first Black VP.
That's not the most memorable for me, though.
That is, as a woman, for me, it was like, yes. So, because,
And I love that for us, but...
We'll talk about it another time, right?
Yeah.
So, last but not least, Todd, what is a moment in time for you?
So the moment in time for me was January 18th of 2023. To watch Governor Moore sworn in as the first Black governor of the state of Maryland. And I had a good seat, y'all. I mean, I wasn't...
Did you? Come on, somebody.
I was watching it at home. I had a good seat.
He's VIP.
I could see the faces. So, it was like, when I tell you the atmosphere, y'all, like, the atmosphere was amazing. And then you looked around and you saw so many Black people. And of course you saw so many other races too, but so many Black people. And again, that was a moment where I was like, okay, we belong. I remember I was sitting next to Teresa Dudley, who is big in the MSEA, the Maryland State Educators Association. And she looked over at me and she said, Todd, I feel like the trees are saying, I can dig this. And then I looked up at the trees and it was just a nice breeze blowing and the trees were just moving back and forth. And it was something that I would have never probably thought of myself. But she made mention, she was like, look at the environment. And of course we were in the dead of January and it was a nice day out there. Like everything just fell into place and it was so many people that were happy and excited about celebrating the first Black governor. And to be able to say
big deal
that everyone on this call knows the first Black governor of this state. He came to your church. I know he came because I was there with him. But, to be able to say not only he was the first Black governor, but I had an opportunity to spend some time with him and that he addressed me on a personal level. It was just amazing. January 18th, I got a pen in the mail from them the other day. I forgot to bring it to where I'm at right now so I could show y'all, but his inauguration was amazing. And then to go to his people party and just the Black excellence that was in that room.
We love it.
They let us know, it's never been like this before.
Right.
But it will never be like that again. We finally have a place. We are leaving our mark.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. So, as Todd was our last speaker, we want to talk about some local Black history. So, Todd has an announcement to make. He is a part of Black history. He himself will go down in Black history. Tell us why.
Okay, so back in the 80s, Honus Kane was elected as the first Black councilperson for the city of Pocomoke. Following Honus Kane, King Tracy Codman, she was the second Black and the first woman to be on the Pocomoke City Council. Following Tracy, it was Diane Downing. Diane was the third Black, second woman to be on the city council. And then there was me. So I really had nothing to really hang my hat on, right? Like I had nothing to hang my hat on. It's been done 4 times before me. I was a second man, but he had covered that the first time. So I now, on April 11th, I will be sworn in as the first Black mayor of Pocomoke City. Miosha, do we throw our hood up now or we wait till the 11th?
Oh, it's up.
So when
is that again? Hold on, when is that again?
April 11th.
Let me put that in my calendar.
It's a party.
Because, baby.
So as of now, I am the first Black mayor-elect of Pocomoke City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to that. Tell us a little bit about your journey to get to that moment.
So I was elected in April of 2018. I was
there.
I was still going to First Baptist then. And I had a lot of people saying that I would not win. But even I'm going to back up. We're going to go back to 2015. So in 2015, the first Black police chief was wrongfully terminated from the city of Pocomoke City. I remember, y'all, we had this town hall. It felt like we were down in like Selma, Alabama or something like that. We had this town hall, and I wasn't trying to talk. I was just going to sit in the back. I wanted to see people act a fool, you know. Of course, I was supporting Chief Sewell, but I sat in the back because I wanted to see him act a fool. And so I started going to council meetings. And I stood up at a council meeting and I told my district representative, I said, you know, when you walked past me, you didn't even speak to me. You didn't know that I lived in your district. And I remember telling him in that moment, I'm like, you know, when the District 4 seat is up for re-election, I'm going to run against you. And y'all, after I said that to him, when I got back to my seat, I was like, yo, what did I say? I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Not at all. So when the District 4 seat came up for re-election in 2018, someone picked up the phone, they called me and they were like, hey, you remember a couple years ago you said you were running for the District 4 seat, you know, it's up for re-election. And I was like, yeah, no. And I went to my home church. I visited my home church for something they had going on, and the person that was preaching stopped and looked at me and you know, he basically told me to do it. And he didn't know me, I didn't know him. He told me God ordained, you know, go ahead and do it. And so I did it, and we won. And then I was up for re-election in 2021. And 2021? Yeah, 2021. I was up for re-election in 2021, and we did it twice. You know, that was the second time we won the election. And the road has not been easy. The disparaging part sometimes is that we are still celebrating the first Black anything. Just as Reverend Gale said, you know, when we really look back and we look at the accomplishments of Black people, it's sad that we are just now celebrating the first Black mayor of Pocomoke, the first Black governor of Maryland, the first, you know, Black vice president. You know, it is sad that we're still celebrating those things, but that's why we have months like Black History Month. Correct. Because they keep us in check. It is a reminder of where we came from, and it is just a forerunner of where we are able to go. You couldn't have told me back in 2015 that I would be sitting in the position that I'm sitting in now. That's the beautiful thing about Black people. And I said this about Pocomoke last night, but it applies to Black people also. We are resilient.
Yes.
We are builders.
Oh, we are.
And because we are resilient, and because we are builders, we can survive anything, and we can make anything into what we wanted.
Her.
That
was a good way.
I love
that
us.
was it. I love us. Love us. Mayor-elect Todd Knox, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for telling us your story. We congratulate you. You have our prayers, our support, you know, and we know that you are going to do wonderful, beautiful things in the city of Pocomoke, and I'm looking forward to seeing you run for many, many other positions.
There won't be no others.
See. See.
This is it.
He's doing too much. So, does anyone else have anything to add about Black History Month? Anything that why Black History Matters, our topic? Does anybody have anything that they want to add that before I go into our rapid fire question? Because this was a funny one. Going once, going twice. So, okay. So, we talked about Black history. And you know, us as a people, we have a rich history. And we're amazing people. And people love us. The appropriation of us is amazing. It's hate, but it's amazing. So my question to you is, you know how, I don't know if anybody who's on social media, they'll be like, oh, he's invited to the picnic. He's invited to the picnic. So the person that's invited to the picnic is always a non-African American person for whatever reason, So, it could be because they're a vibe. It could be because they're whatever, but that you be like, they'll be doing something and you'll be like, oh, that person's invited to the picnic. So I want to ask each of you, a non-African American person that you would invite to the picnic, to the cookout, excuse me, not the picnic, the cookout. And I'm gonna go first. That way to give you guys a chance to think. So my rapid fire question for tonight is, who is a non-Black, non-African American person that's automatically invited to the cookout? For me, Travis Kelce. Love Travis Kelce.
Travis Black.
Travis Kelce is a football player for the Kansas City Chiefs. Just recently won the Super Bowl. And,
he is funny.
And I have been following him for the last couple of years. And Travis Kelce, he just gives a vibe like that, like you would want him at your cookout, because he's gonna cut up with the kids. He's gonna play cards with your uncles. He's gonna clown with your aunties. Travis Kelce is always invited to the cookout.
Always.
Period. So that's my invited to the cookout. So it's a non-Black person. It doesn't have to, of any other race or origin, but non-Black. So who's invited to the cookout, Mia?
Well, you know what? Since we're talking about the Super Bowl, when Chris Stapleton, who's actually, I really like Chris Stapleton, and let me tell you, he killed that. And I put on my social media, he's invited to the cookout.
Okay. Okay.
He's invited.
He's invited to the cookout.
He sang that.
Yes, I enjoyed it. It was not it was something calm about it. I remember looking and seeing somebody was actually like, people were in tears. I was like, yes, we love when it moves people and invokes tears in people. Brianna, who's invited to the cookout?
Oh Lord, y'all just be coming to me when I'm not ready.
We gave you 15 minutes.
Rapid fire. Y'all, is Bruno Mars?
No, yeah, he can come. No.
Yeah, he can come.
Yeah, okay, great. He's not hang out. Come. I want to hang out with Bruno Mars. I think that he'd be a lot of fun. He seems like a great person.
I feel like Bruno,
Latino,
yes.
right?
Huh?
I think so. Maybe he's from Hawaii. I can't remember.
He's Hawaiian, yeah.
He's Hawaiian. Okay, yeah. I definitely invite Bruno. We could vibe to his music a little bit. He just seems like a great character, and he's welcome.
He's welcome. Todd, who's coming to the cookout?
He's entertaining.
Oh, it's my turn already. So mine is going to be a bit controversial, and y'all are going to look at me like I'm crazy when I say this name, because y'all probably aren't going to know who it is, but I'm going to tell you who it is. Jane Elliott.
Okay.
You're right.
Y'all know who
we don't know.
Is she the white lady with glasses?
The blue-eyed, brown-eyed lady?
Yes. Okay.
Brianna wouldn't know who she was.
Give us
I can see her videos on social media.
Details about who she is.
So Jane Elliott is she's a Caucasian lady, and she talks about the mistreatment of Black people. Mm-hmm. And she does exercises to open people's eyes up about the mistreatment of Black people. She kind of calls them like blue-eyed bandits and things like that. She really calls it out. She allows people to see things from our perspective. There are still times that we walk into rooms where we feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Right? And she creates scenarios whereas other races can see why we're uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
I think I know who she is. She's older now. Like, she's been doing that for years. Mm-hmm. And like, she has a real hard voice, kind of. It's like, yeah. Like, it's like you're almost intimidated by her.
She's like 90. So we would have to, not only is she invited.
She's 90.
Not only is she invited to the cookout, but I would make her play too.
So you're making her play? Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, clips of her talks and stuff went around on social media like maybe a couple years ago. Like, they were like, everybody was like, oh my goodness. And
like,
that's the
she
only
goes
reason
hard.
I know.
Yeah, she goes hard. Reverend Watson, your gears has been spinning. I need to know.
Both of them got smoke coming out their ears. Brandon.
I wanted to go Reverend Watson because his mind, I see it. It's who's coming to the cookout.
Gary Owen. Gary Owen.
I thought about that, but
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
he's funny.
Brandon, we can't hear you.
He's definitely invited to the cookout.
Did he divorce? Didn't he and his wife? I think they divorced, right?
Mhm.
He took mine. Kenny took mine.
Did
He
he
took
really?
it from you, Brandon.
Yeah, he
Now
took
you gotta
it.
think of somebody else.
So both of y'all were thinking Gary Owen. So you ain't have nobody else. So you don't have anybody else you can think of, Reverend Gale?
I didn't have, but that's what I was gonna say. Gary Owen. That cat is hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
He is funny.
Also,
He is
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I think. But I tell you, you know who I would. Hold on, baby. Hold on. Who I would invite? I'm sorry, my daughter wasn't. Hold on one second. Hold on. I'm coming. But hold on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I would invite though. He's older now, but they gave him his first start. The Wayans brothers.
Ooh, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
him.
Okay.
Jim Carrey
Yeah, I'll invite Jim
invited
Carrey
to
because
the
Jim Carrey
cookout.
he's a clown too.
Okay.
And he credits his career takeoff
He
from
does.
the Wayans brothers. So he has appreciation, for the black brothers too. Yeah.
He said
Yep.
that. I've seen that.
Me too.
I've seen that clip several times
And I
actually
didn't know
in the
that
last
either.
couple of weeks. So
They
we
gave him a
got Gary.
tampon in living color.
Yes. So we have an array of people coming to the cookout. So if they're watching our show, you guys are all invited to the cookout. Okay, so let's close this one out. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Thank you all for your thoughts and your reflections on Black history and why Black history matters. Thank you, Mayor-elect Todd Knox, for joining us. We look
Yes,
forward to
thanks,
sworn
Todd.
in on April 11th. And knowing that you're gonna, do wonderful things in the city of Kokomo. So, Black History Month, y'all. We don't have to celebrate. We've celebrated all month. Please take time to be mindful and to be thoughtful of Black history all year because we do this every day, all day, not just in February. So, with that being said, we are out until next time.
Bye, y'all.